My partner Al Rabowski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Nice way to start this homestand and series last night with a victory for St. Louis, and this is our fourth key matchup. Let's jump right into it. Brandon Webb and Mark Mulder, two guys that get lots of ground balls.
You're absolutely right. Two of the best in the National League. Brandon Webb second most, and Mark Mulder third. And thank goodness it's nighttime, because Mark Mulder is 12-1 with a 2.14 ERA at night.
Any reason why that's been the case, you think?
I don't know. It's conversely, it's 1-5 with an ERA in better than 7.5. I guess during the day the guys just see the ball much better, and obviously he's more of a night owl.
Well, he was a hero last night, and that was Sho Taguchi. When we come back here on Cardinals baseball, we'll talk about the versatile outfielder of the St. Louis Cardinals. He can play left, center, or right. He was all over the place last night. Sho Taguchi, a closer look, is coming up next. For Sho Taguchi, 3 of those were doubles, and I think the thing that stands out in that graphic, surprising to me, coming into the season, in the bottom left portion of the average, you see a 290 career hitter coming into the season. I had no idea he was close to 300.
Well, he's had hit 400 one year and stuff like that, but it's really in very limited play, September call-up type situations, very little power productions and RBIs. So it's a really breakout year, and it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah, Sho Taguchi playing great baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals. The injuries are getting a little bit better, but a guy like Sho can help you along. Mulder on the mound tonight. Jim Hayes has a visit with Walt Jocketty, the Cardinals GM, when we come back.
Busch Stadium with Cardinal GM Walt Jocketty. Walt Taguchi, 4 hits last night. Nunez has played well. Has the success of the bench players taken away some of the urgency to make some sort of waiver deal?
I think it has, Jim. I think the way the bench has performed all year has been a great indication of, and it's been a great part of our success. And it really has taken away the urgency of our deal, because we know that we're going to get our players back within, some within days and the others within weeks. And we wouldn't be able to acquire a player as good as Molina or Larry Walker or Reggie Sanders or Roland. So, I mean, right now we know we're going to get these, we're going to get guys back, and when we get them back, we'll be at full strength. But what the bench has done to keep things going this long has really been spectacular.
When we come back, Dan and Al and Cardinals baseball.
Nice evening, a little muggy here in downtown St. Louis as we get you set for Game 2 of baseball between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. These big crowds, and it has been amazing this season, still filing in, and we're going to have over 3.5 million come through the turnstiles here at Busch. The Dodge lineup for Arizona: Royce Clayton, Alex Cintron, and Luis Gonzalez, who homered last night, Troy Glaus, Jackson, Tracy, Torrero, Snyder, and Webb. That's your Dodge starting lineups for Arizona. Mark Mulder is on the mound for St. Louis, and his numbers brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. He's coming off a loss against Chicago last time out, but as you mentioned, Al, that was in the day.
Day game, night game Mark. That's what we'll call him. 12-1, 2.14 ERA at night. 1-0 against these guys through a one-hit shutout when he was with Oakland a couple years back.
And the defense tonight behind Mark Mulder. Around the horn we go, brought to you by Auto Tire. Taguchi, Edmonds, Mabry in the outfield. Nunez, Eckstein, Grzelcyk, and Pujols on the infield, and Einar Diaz is behind home plate. That's your Auto Tire defense, and here's Royce Clayton, who was 1 for 4 last night. And it's 7-10. Our first pitch is on the way from Mulder, and it's taken for a ball outside. Mark Carlson is the home plate umpire. Joe West is at first. Mike DeMuro at second. Brian Gorman is at third. A little low, and it's 2-0. Arizona starts play tonight with a record of 56-64, 4 games back of San Diego. They're back to the 500 mark at 59-59. Our game time temperature, 81 degrees. And there's a look at Bob Melvin, 3rd season in the big leagues as a manager. Majority of his time spent with Seattle. And they have a legitimate shot to get into postseason play just because the West has been playing so poorly. 4 games back, that's it. They go on a little run, they've got a chance to get in. And it's a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. People are just coming up to you right and left, Alan, talking about your new haircut.
You may not realize it, but that young lady was the Cardinals' most successful scout in their history.
Working for Bing Devine.
It's his daughter.
That's right.
But she did sign one player.
A swing and a miss by Clayton. That's how we start the game. And who was that player?
Tim Plotnick. They were dating each other at Arizona, and he didn't have any money, so she called up Dad, said he was a pitcher. Can you sign him? Signed him, and he did get to the big leagues. But back to this real action, as good start for Mulder as you see this sinking action, and eventually got his first strikeout with the first man.
And that's what I love about you, Al. We can go from your haircut to finding out how she signed somebody that got to the big league. That's a good story, though. I like that story.
Where can you get that knowledge?
It's outstanding. Here comes an 0-1 pitch to Cintron. It's hit left side off the glove of Nunez. Eckstein long throw and not in time.
Still a nice effort, as this defense will be tested from both sides. Both of these teams, particularly the middle or the infielders, are going to be very active. Just off the glove, he deflects it toward Eckstein, and from very deep in the hole, he still made a play. And if Cintron wasn't running, they would have gotten him.
Luis Gonzalez will dig in. 17 homers. Picked up a 2-run shot last night. Now 65 RBIs. Teams have been neutralized as far as the running game is concerned against the Cardinals, and much of that success because of Yadier Molina. And at some point, we're going to see Molina behind the plate, and very well could be tomorrow night.
Also, the Cardinal pitchers do a very good job of varying their moves, not giving a pattern. Tony does little things to stop the running game, keep these base runners honest, a lot of different trick plays.
Gonzalez hits it to Pujols, spins for one. On to first, double play. 3-6-3 on the double play. Bottom of the first coming up.
Let's think about the mental process, thought process of ground balls. In this situation, Albert could have stepped on the bag and then yelled tag him, but he decided that the speedier runner is the man at first base. He runs much better than Gonzalez, the batter, so he threw the ball to get the force out at second and then the return throw. If you would have had a speedier runner hitting the ball, maybe you would touch the base and then you had more time to execute that throw to second and tell your middle infielder to tag it.
Cardinals lineup brought to you by Dodge, as David Eckstein will lead things off for the Redbirds. Nifty double play turned by the Cardinals, and on the mound for Arizona, Brandon Webb. He himself a very good ground ball pitcher. It'll be Eckstein, Nunez, and Pujols here in the first. And quickly 0-2 on David.
Brandon Webb got off to a great start. He was 6-0. Then he kind of had a spell where he lost quite a few games. Now he's starting to pick it up again. But ground ball pitcher. You know, the
ball,
one,
2 strikes.
And the one thing last year, remember, he led the league in walks with their improved defense, and a lot of that is Clayton. Now he's cut down on those walks and trying to throw the ball and a power sinker and get ground balls.
That ball goes in on the hands of David Eckstein. And the count is 1-2. One of those guys that you mentioned defensively that has been sure-handed in his career is Royce Clayton, the former Cardinal. He was here back in '96, and it was an uneasy situation for Royce Clayton, Tony La Russa, Ozzie Smith, as that ball rolls foul and stays foul. Cardinals went out, signed Clayton to come in, and it was Ozzie's final season. And Tony has talked about one of the toughest things to do as a manager is that figuring out the right way to integrate that player that's aging and done, and maybe his final season at that point. Ozzie had made it known, and trying to figure out what's the best way to get him into the lineup, Royce Clayton, and also Ozzie Smith, and do him the proper respect.
Well, Whitey Herzog said the toughest thing about managing is managing a superstar at the end of their career. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Remember Walt Weiss, a few other potential free agents were asked about coming here. Their first response was, what about Ozzie? Well, he's under contract, but you know, he's having problems. No, thank you. Royce didn't have that chance. He was traded for.
Royce deep in the hole, low throw, and it's picked over there by first. So Eckstein grounds out to start this game for St. Louis. Around the horn brought to you by Auto Tire. Gonzalez, Terrero, and Tracy. Gloss, Clayton, Cintron, Jackson on the infield, and Snyder is behind the plate. Here's Abraham Nunez.
You know, Dan, we talk about sinker ball pitchers. So you know the ball is going to be going down. So your approach as a hitter, if you see something low in the strike zone, let it fall below, like that pitch there. If it's up in the zone, that's the pitch you want because it's going to flatten out. You'll have a better chance to hit it. But if you're seeing something low in the, you know, right above the knees, you have no chance because the bottom's going to fall out of that pitch.
And I'm sure that's something that Hal McRae talked about. Here's another ground ball, hit to second this time. 2 down. Let's take a look at the grip here, Brandon Webb.
You see it out there. It's a two-seamer, so you get on top of it, and then you just throw it like your fastball. But look at the movement. Terrific movement, and it seems like every time you swing, you hit down on the ball, you get ground balls. He will mix in some change-ups, but if he threw 100 pitches, it's going to be close to 85 to 90 of them will be sinkers.
First pitch to Albert at the knees for a called strike 1. Pujols 2 for 4 last night. We get emails all the time asking us, does he have a legitimate shot at the Triple Crown? And the answer at this point is absolutely. Albert Pujols at 337. There's your major league leaders in runs. And Pujols is third in batting average as he taps that one off his foot. Albert has got 33 home runs, done 34. Lee with 35, and then Andrew Jones career year with 37. And RBIs, he leads in that department with 94.
Well, I just think that, yes, he has a legitimate shot. So do a couple other guys, but don't count on it. Hasn't happened in the National League since 1937 and Joe Ducky Medwick, and not in the big league since, was it 67 with
67 with Yastrzemski. That's right.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's the sinker.
Pujols takes it just outside, and it's 2-2.
Now, Brandon Webb, you know, as I say, he throws, you know, 90%, 85 to 90% sinkers. Now, there's sinker. You wish Jason Marquis would pitch like this.
As Pujols pulls it foul.
He'll throw an occasional big curveball, but he's basically the sinker. You incorporate more changeups. That's the pitch that Dave Duncan would like to be the secondary pitch to Marquis' sinker. There's the changeup.
Albert into deep left field. That's off the wall. Pujols a wide turn around first. They're going to test him. And they're safely at second. Looks like he slid off the bag, but stayed on it just enough for a 2-out double. He's in scoring position.
Well, you know, we talk about you throw so many sinkers. This is why he doesn't want to throw too many changeups. It's a bad one because look at the location. Totally misses from outside to inside, and it's belt high. And that ball should be crushed. It's hit hard, but stays in the ballpark. And Gonzalez, who with that surgically repaired arm, got the ball quickly, and good thing Albert always hustles.
Jim Edmonds now digs in with 2 down. Pujols at second. Edmonds a cleanup man tonight. First pitch taken outside. First inning last night he was bunting with a couple of runners on, and Tony La Russa said it was a good play. One that he liked to see as opposed to some of the other times in which Jimmy has bunted this season.
Well, he had a left-hander out there. It's part of the equation.
A left-hander that had not given up a home run to left-handed hitters.
And I think it also was an indication how Jim felt about his chances. Now for Brandon Webb, he's 2 for 5 with a home run.
Kansas City Royals lose again. 11-5 to Seattle.
18, right?
18 now, and they're 3 back of the all-time record, 21 straight losses set by the Orioles back in 1988. They started the season that way. Buddy Bell is thinking, what have I got myself into?
Well, Denny Matthews is here at the ballpark today. That tells you how much confidence he has. He didn't even want to see him.
The 2-0 is pulled right side, taken by Cintron, and the Cardinals strand a man. And they're half of the first. Albert Pujols with another extra base hit. With that double off the wall and left. Left stranded though. We played one. There's no score. Look at Big Mac Land here in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. We hope you enjoyed Jim Hayes' visit with Cardinals president Mark Lamping on the pregame show, and you got an in-depth look at the new stadium, hard hat and all for those two. There's Troy Glaus, who's hitting .260, 26 homers and 74 RBIs. It is just amazing. And I know we get a lot of fans from out of town that will come in on the weekends and check out Cardinal baseball. If you haven't been here in a while and haven't had a chance to see the new ballpark, Jim's piece was able to really highlight what's going on over there, and it's just amazing. The seats that are now being put in place, you get a little idea of where, at least visually, it's easier to see where home plate's going to be, and the outline of the diamond. It looks terrific.
Very small ballpark. Plane service and very small.
Is that right?
No, I mean, currently.
Well, yeah. Even I might be able to get one out of that. Well, now.
I don't even think it goes very much beyond the pitcher's mound.
There's a base hit pulled past Nunez and David Eckstein and out to left. But at least you get an idea of where everything's going to be.
Hey, you know, in last night's ball game at the end, Troy Glaus got hit. And let me tell you how professional Sean Green, Gonzalez, and Glaus are. They knew that one of the three were going to get hit in that game. They kind of said, which one? He took it like a man. You know, he missed like 3 times. Then Cal Hildreth hit him on the 4th pitch. Benches were warned after that. But they told their young pitchers, they said, guys, particularly their young bullpen guys, said, you're going to get one of us hurt. And we don't like this. You can't be as wild. And they knew once that ball went up and into Albert Pujols, they knew somebody was going to get paid. But they acted like professionals, and they also went to the young pitchers and said, you've got to learn to get the ball down. You've got to throw strikes.
That's what I love about the game. You can police it yourselves amongst the players instead of having the umpires step in. How about the Cardinals' second double play turn? Connor Jackson grounds into the 5-4-3 double play, and we talked about this during our open. Ground ball pitchers, you're going to see a lot of this.
You really are, and particularly if it's a right-handed batter with Mulder up there, a lot of ground balls are going to go to the left side, but all infielders should be busy.
And the players, Al, as you well know, will say, just let us handle it. We can handle it. Yeah. We'll police this.
Sometimes the umpires, in an effort to stop things, create environments.
Yep. That's strike one to Chad Tracy, 18 homers and 46 RBIs. The right fielder tonight hitting .295 for Arizona.
And when you don't see teams as frequently as you used to, I think it probably is better to take care of things right away and put a stop to it. But when you used to play clubs a lot more, you could say, well, we'll get you next week. But now I think it's imperative to tell your teammates, I'm not trying to get anybody hurt, just trying to protect people and stop it.
Hit left side, cut off. No, it's going to go to Eckstein, and they just get Chad Tracy. So 2 double plays turned in 2 innings by St. Louis. Mabry, Gritzelanek to Gucci coming up. No score. The Diamondbacks about hit the Cardinals 2-1, but St. Louis has erased those hits with double plays. John Mabry, batting .262, will lead it off. 6 home runs, 27 RBIs on the year. First pitch, lines it into right center field. And Mabry hustling out of the box is thinking too. Aggressive early on, and he is safe at second. Leadoff double for Mabry.
Well, you know, John doesn't have that great running speed, but he has great heart and hustled his way into second base. Strong throw from the center fielder. And pitch down and in. He's running hard. And watch the throw. It looked like it short hops, and it looks like Clayton came up a little bit, and that was the difference. If he could have kept the glove down, very good call by the second base umpire, Mike DeMuro, as he was right on top of that play and watched the slide. The glove and the throw kind of were a little bit quicker, but the glove came up, and John got to the bag first.
So many times we talk about John Mabry swinging at the first pitch. And look at that. First pitch swings 111 in 214 plate appearances for Mabry, and that was a first pitch swinging double.
You know, a lot of times statistics can tell a story, and that's a good one. If you knew that as a pitcher, why would you make your best pitch? You know, or
Grizzalonic a bunt. It's going to be close, and they throw it away, and the Cardinals have the lead. Mabry scores. It was an error that got things started for the Cardinals last night. Arizona commits another in game number 2, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Just a perfect bunt as momentum carries Webb to the third base side, so the bunt on the first base side gets fine. Jackson, the first baseman, bad throw, wide throw is 5th error, and the Cardinals are on the board. But plain little baseball, trying to play for that 1 run early, pays off again.
So it's a base hit and an error on the second baseman. And now it's Sho Taguchi. 4 hits last night, 3 of those doubles. The legend of Sho Taguchi continues to grow. Check on Grizzalonic.
I know we're all happy about it.
How about Jim Hayes' interview with Sho afterwards last night?
Well, I mean, Sho conducted in English and Jim was in Japanese.
Yeah. I mean, that was insightful.
It was.
See room into right center for Taguchi.
You're always going to have those middle infielders back at double play depth. Third baseman playing in a bit.
The runner is going, hit and run is on, and it's pulled foul.
That's another aspect. That when you have a ground ball pitcher, you have that runner in first base, you try to avoid the double play. Snyder, their catcher, throws out about 22% of the runners.
In all seriousness, though, I give Sho Taguchi a lot of credit in what is certainly not an easy or comfortable situation, conducting interviews in a language that is tough for him to speak. He understands it very well.
Yes.
Very tough for him, though, to speak it. And yet here he was doing KMOX's radio show with Wayne Hagan, and then comes over and does our very own Jim Hayes as our star of the game on the television side. So our thanks to number 99.
And many times we try to talk to, you know, the Latin players, or so in this case. You want to give them every opportunity to speak to the audience, but you know, some of them are more comfortable than others.
How much does his performance this year, and you see what he's done with runners on at 349, and really for his career, but getting better and better, tease you into thinking that possibly this guy could be an everyday player going into next season, whether it's here or somewhere else? But just thinking about it. Hit to second, that's 1. Good speed by Taguchi down the line, so they get the lead runner, Grizzalonic.
I think you legitimately have to think that way.
You don't know about Sanders, you don't know about Walker. Parties, Singular Wireless, and the Post-Dispatch are proud to sponsor the All Busch Stadium team balloting. This is your chance to vote for your favorite Cardinals player at each position who played at the current Busch Stadium. To vote, log on to STOCardinals.com, look for the ballot, and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch or text message vote to 7267 on your Singular Wireless phone.
I mean, at the very least, and his contract will be up. At the very least, you got to think about him as a 4th outfielder, but a viable option if you go after somebody and you're not able to acquire him.
I guess if you're the Cardinals, the big concern would be, would he be overexposed? And basically, he has been an everyday player with the injuries to Sanders and Walker, so he's getting a chance to play every day and making the most of it. see if the Cardinals want to do some running with Show with his good speed at first.
This is his 60th start of the year.
That's hit left side. And that is an inning-ending double play off the bat of Diaz. Cardinals, though, score first. As John Mabry scores the first run of this ball game. This day in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. A slim down Steve Klein ties a major league record by fanning 4 batters in the 7th inning. The Montreal 2-1 win over the Giants. Steve Klein came over to St. Louis and was terrific. And the Cardinals said goodbye to him. He's now with Baltimore and enjoying just a wonderful time with the fans and his teammates in Baltimore.
Never too early to start him out as Cardinal fans.
Here's Luis Torrero. Lines it into center, and it's going to be caught. Edmonds there on a ball that was absolutely smoked.
Never got up, and Jim was able to. First, you thought he might have to dive for it. See where that pitch really misses right in the middle of the plate, belt high, and it just carried out there. Thought at first when it left the bat he was going to sinking line drive that Jim may dive for, but it just kept on carrying out there and makes a nice play. Snyder is up.
Something that we get a chance to see is that these players giving back to our community and signing autographs and saying hi to the fans. And Jim Edmonds went above and beyond with the McAtee family that is here tonight. They threw out the ceremonial first pitch. And let's give him some credit here. And I'm sure he doesn't want it, but I saw it and watched it. He was so nice to the family. Of course, Officer McAtee, killed in the line of duty, Kirkwood police officer, being honored here tonight. And Jim Edmonds went back in his locker, found bats, was bringing guys out to meet the family, sign autographs, take pictures, took time out of his batting practice and stretching and throwing. He could not have been any nicer or better to the family, and we wish nothing but the best to the McAtees. They are here tonight in attendance. Their young family, certainly hard times, as you might imagine, and hopefully we can just get them away from that for just a little break in the action of that and have some fun here at the ballpark. And Edmonds helped out an awful lot.
Yeah, and just one more reminder maybe for the help out the great organization of the Backstoppers, who really do a tremendous job for the fallen heroes. And that's what they are, the firemen and police officers, EMTs that lose their life in the line of duty. They do an outstanding job, and we should remember that they are truly heroes.
Brandon Webb will be the hitter with 1 out. Our jack-in-the-box standings as the Cardinals lead the Central by 11 games. Atlanta over Washington by 4.5, and Arizona in second place out west. They are 4 back of San Diego. That's your jack-in-the-box standings and division leaders in the National League. You should have seen these kids. They were just so excited to meet and say hello with Jim Edmonds and stand by him and visit with him, shake his hand. And it wasn't just the courtesy coming by and doing it. I mean, he took a good half hour, 45 minutes, close to an hour, I bet, introducing him to all the players. That's ball 1 to Brandon Webb, who's hitting .070 on the year with no home runs and 1 RBI.
Picked up the pace of late. It sounds a little bit odd, but he was 0 for his first 30.
And it's 2-0.
And has 3 hits in his last 6 starts, so he's 3 for 13. Nunez charging as well as Pujols, and I think they're saying, Mulder, throw a strike. We're getting tired of running sprints.
Pujols charging down the line at first, Nunez charging at third, and the bunt is foul. That's strike 1, 2-1. John Mabry has scored the lone run in this game, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. USA Baseball today announced the manager and coaching staff of the 2005 World Cup team, and on that staff will be Rick Eckstein. It's the brother of Cardinals shortstop David Eckstein. Rick currently a coach in the Washington Nationals organization, and Davey Johnson will be the manager of that squad.
Yeah. Well, so far Brandon Webb, who has an opportunity to help himself, can't get the bat in fair territory. Last 2 times identical pitches, never got the bat in fair territory and bunts the ball foul.
2-2 pitch. Deadens it, but it's foul. So a strikeout and the scorecard for Mulder. And that's his second strikeout tonight.
He's stabbing at it, but never got the bat out in fair territory. Of course, bunting on the. Here was a big play off the bat of Edmonds. And he throws it away. Here's another one. Grizzle on it. They throw it away. Give the Cardinals. Last night was 2 runs in the first. This time it's a run in the second.
There's also a struggle with situational hitting in that game for Arizona as well. One point they had first and second, nobody out, did not get a runner in. There's Royce Clayton back to the top of the order, and the pitch is taken low and away. 2 outs now, and Clayton his first time struck out to start this ball game. You have a new haircut. He has a new look as well. His just took a little longer to develop.
I like it.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, but as he's going to try to bunt his way on, it's a beauty. They test Nunez. No need to throw it.
Look at the Cardinals defensively. End up with Eckstein and Diaz, the catcher, at third base as Nunez came in to field it. They really were very alert in case the runner Snyder wanted to try and go over to third. So Nunez comes in here, sees the bunt down, barehands it, but realizes he doesn't have a play, so he puts on. Now look at Diaz, and then if you hold on to it long enough, Eckstein will join him right there. You just saw him right come into the pitcher as the Cardinals were hustling on the play.
Chance here now for Arizona. Alex Cintron singled his first time up. Runners at first and second, and the pitch is taken for a ball. I was about to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but Royce Clayton, the runner at first, is married to a track star. Is that correct?
Yes. She is
Olympic star.
Olympic for Great Britain.
Two and 0.
So he's not even the fastest person in the household.
Person. Well, those two have a history from the playoffs. It's one we'd like to forget, as Roland, of course, was hit by Cintron, who was running from second to third. They got tangled up. Roland hurt, done for the playoffs. And those two teams, of course, St. Louis and Arizona, have met twice in postseason play.
I mean, I know Scott hurting right now. He's got to hurt a little more every time he sees Cintron. I was a little concerned talking with Scott today and expected to hear a little better message than when I was delivered.
Which was?
Feels terrible.
That's not good. 2-1 pitch. Cardinals have had the luxury of letting these star players sit, whether it be Roland, Walker, Sanders. Sizable lead in the Central, and with each passing day where he edged closer to postseason play, that means another game off the regular season roster or schedule. And the Cardinals inching closer. Left center, Edmonds on the move, and Jimmy's got it. Right in front of the Budweiser sign out in left center field. Takes an extra base hit away, and a couple of runs possibly may have scored on this play. Taken away, though, by Edmonds out in center. Coming up here at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals are hosting the first ever career day. That'll be September 14th, prior to the Cards-Pirates day game. A program featuring Cardinals executives and front office personnel giving tips and details on careers in sports. Number to call for ticket information is 425-0600. 425-0600. We can't reiterate this point enough. If you are just thinking about getting tickets, you better do it, because it is filling up to the point where it is standing room only for just about every game remaining. Now, there are a few on the schedule. I think, Al, maybe 3 or 4 that it is not standing room only. And you know that final week is going to be sold out. So if you're thinking about coming on down to the ballpark, and the Cardinals announced tonight that they will draw over 3.5 million people in a press release that they handed out. We've talked about that the last couple of weeks. But if you're thinking about coming down, make sure and get your tickets now.
I see like 4 dates that there's tickets sold still in the 30s. Everything else is the 20 remaining dates, or 19 after tonight. Everything is in the 40s. And the Cardinals have had 31 sold out games, including tonight's game. 23 straight games of 40,000 plus. 36 of the last 38 games with crowds of 40,000 plus. And 45 of the 62 home games with crowds of 40 plus. And our tickets remain for most games.
Grounder left side to Troy Gloss. 2 away.
And once again, don't forget that prime seat club. That may be the best bet right now if you have to have good seats.
Very good way to get your good seats coming down to the ballpark. Quickly, 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 3rd. And it's Abraham Nunez with Pujols on deck.
And I can tell you, recently in the mail, I got a invitation, which has probably gone on out to, I don't know, several hundred former Cardinals about coming in for the final weekend. And just make it really special for the final weekend. Just a lot of things the Cardinals have planned, including bringing all the players out on the field, you know, for that final game.
Do you know if they're going to also honor the football team as well?
That I wasn't sure, because this just pertained to the baseball side of it.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Nunez. Taken for a strike. Tom Pagnozzi, our buddy Pags.
Pags is going to take the number down tomorrow. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
That was what, 250 pounds ago?
Oh, Al, you didn't have to go that far. I mean, 225 maybe.
Okay, he's lost weight.
Nunez called out on strikes. And the Cardinals go 1-2-3 in their half of the 3rd. Tom Pagnozzi, the former Gold Glover, in attendance tonight. Hall of Famer will peel off the number tonight. Cardinals on top, 1-0, top of the 4th, and here's Luis Gonzalez. Gonzalez, first time, was out on a double play. 3-6-3 in the double play, and the Cardinals have turned 2 tonight.
Remember the last night, the first 3 times pitches he saw were all inside, and he almost got the 3rd one. And I asked him about the home run, which was the first hit he got off of Supine. He goes, yeah, I was looking inside. Last time they pound me in. He said, then the last time I rolled over on a pitch away, and I was mad at myself, but Cardinals have really got in. It almost looks like he's even opened up a little bit more today.
Watch that back foot. He's almost out of the box.
Oh, well, we can't say anything if we watch Albert either, though.
Yep, same thing.
And he's a little more open, kind of conscious that they want to pound him in.
Count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. The back foot is on the line, on the chalk, as it's fouled away by Gonzalez. I remember when Mark McGwire would be taking batting practice, and the opposing team here at Busch Stadium would come out, and McGwire was in the last group taking BP, and guys would just stand there and watch. And I was watching today, and I noticed Gonzalez, you know, here's a guy that's been in this league for almost 15 years out. They were doing some stretching exercises and getting loose, and Pujols stepped into the cage, and everybody just stopped. I mean, it's like he's garnered that kind of attention and respect already in his 5th season, as they just watch Pujols take BP. 2-2 pitch. Curveball, and he's out in front. Gonzalez, former World Series hero against New York. They beat the Yankees on his game-winning hit.
You know, it's have one or two choices. A lot of times a sinker baller or the good breaking ball pitcher, guys will either go way back in the box and try and get it after it's broke, or they go way up in front and try and get it before the ball moves down.
Here's a 2-2. Chopped off the plate, charging Grizzolonic, tough play, and he makes it look easy. Cardinal Baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. We're ready in advance. And by Rico. How well do you print, copy, scan, fax? How well do you share? One out here at the top of the fourth, and it brings in Troy Glass.
Think about it. Way back in the box like that, you have more of a chance to hit just like that where it hits off the plate. If you're up in front of the box, it's going to hit in front of the plate. And that's what made that such a tough play for Grizzolonic, and he made it look easy.
Glass takes a ball outside. Singled his first time up. Jason writes in, wants to know about an MVP and a Cy Young Award winner in the same year. Well,
Sure.
and what he's asking is about Pujols and Carpenter. How about Bob Gibson winning both?
Well,
Vida Blue
did it in 71.
2 or 1?
I thought it was 71. I thought it was his rookie year. How about that? Forget about the rookie of the year. And I may be wrong, but it was. I thought 71. It could be 72. So
Early 70s. But yeah, it's happened. Bob Gibson in 68, the 1.12 ERA, and
you know,
that changed baseball.
And the Cardinals have only had one Cy Young Award winner, and that's Gibson. He's won it twice.
I asked Bob about that. Are you upset that baseball lowered the mound? He said, I'm still upset. I said, Bob, it's 2005. I don't care. I'm still upset about it. Carpenter very well could be on his way to the Cy Young Award in 2005.
I think it hurt. You know, the higher the mound, the more it's easier to throw on a downward plane, and probably would take a little strain, less strain off the arms. And you worry about just falling off it.
Got him 3-2 on Glass. They always talk about Mulder throwing downhill.
Well, because, you know, and a lot of these scouts, some organizations only want the guys that are 6'5 plus, 6'3, something like that, to get easier to come down on the ball.
1 out walk to Glass, and now it's Connor Jackson, first baseman for Arizona. He hit into a 5-4-3 double play his first time up.
Notice he's got a black eye. I think it's his left one. See it now. We can make up a good story.
You have the real story?
No.
First pitch inside. Whatever happened, he got it pretty good. Hits it out to right. Out number 2. I don't know if you saw this, but Kirk Reeder designated for assignment by San Francisco.
See, I think San Francisco made a mistake. They should have started him in a game against the Cardinals here at Busch Stadium. And if he didn't win, then you say, okay, he can't pitch anymore.
Soft tossing lefty.
Well, I mean, he's owned the Cardinals over the years, and particularly here in this ballpark where all of his buddies from the shed come down and root him on. But I hate to see that because he's such a good guy and he's from our area.
I know a lot of fans. We have an email here from Darren, wants to know would the Cardinals have an interest in Kirk Reeder, and Reeder has been adamant in the fact that he wants to be a starter. He thinks he can still start.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to the bullpen, and had been removed from the rotation. And I think he requested it.
Nunez giving chase and runs out of room.
So I would really doubt it.
A couple of years ago, Al, looking at the numbers for Reeder. I mean, it was very impressive what he did against lefties. So you would figure that if he would accept a role, and it sounds like not this year, but maybe at some point in his future, if he's going to stay in the major leagues, what not better way to do it to go to the bullpen and be a lefty specialist.
Absolutely. But you got to want to be there. And, he might reflect on it.
They've got him picked off. Pujols down to second. Eckstein had to wait for his former teammate Gloss. And had a little smile for him. Cardinals have the heart of the order coming up in their half of the fourth. Pujols, Edmonds, Mabry coming up. St. Louis on.
Let's look at this pickoff and watch Albert Pujols. He's a right-handed thrower, so he comes way up front so he can get a good clean shot. You don't want to stay back at the bag, then you're thrown into a runner. And maybe deflect off him, get away from Eckstein. So move forward, and then your middle infield. In the case of Eckstein, he had a clear view of the throw.
Chopper to short, handled easily by Clayton, and Pujols retired. He's 1 for 2. And that's the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. Thursday, the NFL on Fox returns with a preseason special. Joe Horn leads the Saints into New England to take on Tom Brady and the back-to-back Super Bowl champs, the Patriots. Coverage begins Thursday, 7 o'clock, only on Fox. As Jim Edmonds will dig in. Joe Horn, he of the cell phone celebration.
In the National League, the last time a pitcher to win the Cy Young and a position player to win the most valuable player was in '88 with the Dodgers.
Orel Hershiser
and Kirk Gibson.
Yeah. Hershiser, that was the season he had that scoreless inning streak. He was terrific in postseason play. And Tony La Russa knows all too well about Kirk Gibson.
Yeah. And '84, Rhino and Sutcliffe with the Cubbies.
Trying to think here. '87, I think the Hawk Dawson won the MVP, and then Sosa won it again in 1998 for Chicago. As Webb slipped.
It seems to be
maybe
okay.
He caught his spike on the mound, but obviously he was a little uneasy, but he seems to be all right.
You can't balk with nobody on base, so it's just kind of a no pitch. Nothing happened. It was a do-over.
2-1 pitch. Edmonds rips it into right center field. That gets down. That's extra bases. It goes to the wall. Edmonds will stop at second. And the Cardinals have their third double of the night. Pujols, Mabry, and now Edmonds.
One of the ways to avoid hitting into a double play is get extra base hits. This didn't have a lot of top spin as he gets underneath it and then kind of hooks it, leans back up on the toe, and then just the top spin. Tracy not real quick, and you can see in this outfield a lot of balls get between these fielders and go to the wall for extra bases.
Mabry, an inside pitch. Remember last time on a first pitch from Webb, he laced it for a double.
Well, but see, that's what I mean. If you know a guy better than 50% of the time swings to the first pitch, you don't have to go out there and say, I'm going to make a pitch down the middle. You can try and maybe even nibble a little bit, because he's going to have a tendency to swing at something close.
1-0 is hammered to the opposite field. Well hit. Gonzalez back at the wall, and it's over the wall. It's a home run for Mabry. His 7th in 2005. RBI's 28, 29, and Mabry has collected his second hit tonight, and it's 3-0 Cardinals. Gonzalez just ran out of room.
Well, remember earlier when Pujols was up and he threw him a changeup, and we said he got away with one? Well, you don't always get away with changeups that are up in the zone. Instead of being down and away, another pitch that's up and out over the plate, and put a good swing on it, and Gonzalez runs out of real estate. Now it's 7 home runs for Mabry. wasn't that long ago, all of them were on the road. Now he's starting to catch up at home.
He's been one of those valuable pieces to the puzzle for Tony La Russa this year. Third base, first base, can play the outfield. He's your emergency catcher.
Once again, you just sit there and you have to marvel at the strength of the bench. You know, we say that everybody, when you win, everybody contributes. That's an understatement this year.
A swing and a miss by Gritzelanic. A strikeout for Brandon Webb. And that is his second on the night. Another home run, this one from Mabry. That means 131 total this season for the Cardinals. And our good friends at Sun Trip have the win one for the Kids Charity Fund. They donate $100 for every Cardinals home run. 131 this year for St. Louis.
So Taguchi, this is his 60th start, but he's batting .359 his last 39 with 19 of those multi-hit games. So Taguchi, Mabry, and Nunez, everybody you call off that bench, they're doing a great job.
0-2 the count on So.
And I think that's what stuns the baseball world, is when you think of 4 regulars and a big part of your offense out, and yet the machine doesn't stop.
Two strikeouts on the night, 8 groundouts. So that sinker can be awfully effective from Webb, but it's been the changeup that's got him in trouble tonight. That one tapped off the plate. This will be close. Clayton on his way to first. Safe at first. Safe is Taguchi.
Hustle, good things can happen. Very close play. Clayton made it look good, and a 10-game hitting streak now for Taguchi. I think Royce thought he had gotten him out. The only one that counts is the singing cowboy. Bang, bang play.
Einar Diaz will be the hitter, with the pitcher Mulder on deck. So, you know, he'd love to get Diaz here and leave Mulder standing on deck to start the 5th.
Diaz feels like he can run. You saw Gloss playing back a little bit, going to drop down the bunt.
He does, huh?
I think I can. I think I can. You know, what's the name of that little chain, the choo-choo train?
And now Gloss has moved in over there at third base. You're talking about how this Cardinals team has been a machine. 75 wins, 44 losses, and those 75 wins are the most now in the major leagues.
Well, I was talking about the little train that could.
Sorry, Al. I was thinking something else. Gloss had him play perfectly, Al. And Diaz is thrown out at first. John Mabry back in the second, led off the inning with a double. Here in the 4th, after Edmonds had doubled, he goes deep to the opposite field. 3-0 as we head to tomorrow night. The division leading Cardinals will conclude their season series with Arizona. Live pregame coverage beginning at 6:30. We'll have Cardinals tonight for you. Marquis, Jason Marquis, 9-11, will take on Claudio Vargas. He is 6-6. It'll be the 25th start of the season for Marquis, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak and trying to become the 5th starter in double figures in wins. It has been a struggle to get number 10 for Marquis.
See where the Cardinals, and I agree with this totally. You don't need that many pitchers in postseason. And if you go with one less pitcher, you know, obviously it's one less starter. You add a position player, but I don't know. I'd almost have Marquis bat. I'll call him a position player, not a pitcher. And who do you penalize in that bullpen?
Rick Hummel was writing about that today in the Post-Dispatch. It's an interesting question that the Cardinals will be facing here very shortly.
And, you know, I just didn't understand, you know, the speculation was about Ankiel. I'll take marquee as a hitter over Ankiel.
Sure. Swing and a miss. Strikeout from Mulder. And that's 3 on the night.
Nighttime, huh?
Just one of those things. If he can get one more run in his favor, too, all of a sudden the odds turn extremely high for Mulder and the Cardinals to win this game. It's amazing what he can do when he gets 4 runs of support.
75 and 10 in 96 starts where he receives 4 or more runs of support. 75 and 10.
You can make a case that his best start this season was an afternoon start against Roger Clemens and the Astros.
Yeah, and that's his lone win in the daylight hours.
We talked about it last night, the fact that in the early portion of postseason play, and the Cardinals have been there, it seems like, time and again these last few seasons, but you will have day games dictated by television. And I'm sure that will factor into how Tony La Russa sizes up the postseason matchup.
But you're lucky with the Cardinals' big lead, and we assume they're going to hold on to it. We can assume it. Tony was not going to take anything for granted, but you could set it up to where, you know, you obviously go with a 4-man rotation, possibly even go with 3 if you wanted to, but you could dictate where you used a guy like Mulder.
Hit to third, taken by Nunez. Arizona showed when they made it to the World Series and won, they could do it with 2.
But and the reason we're saying this, it's worth repeating again. Mulder is sporting a night ERA of 2.14, which ranks 3rd in the league. He's 12-1 in 14 starts at night versus 1-5 with a 7.57 in his 10 daytime starts. You just make sure you pitch him at night.
I've had fans come up to me time and again and say, well, what's the deal? Why is that? Dave Duncan doesn't know. Tony La Russa doesn't know. It's just one of those odd things where this season Mulder has struggled.
And let's just see
afternoon games.
Let's just see if it is, you know, during the this year, or if it continues to be that way. You know, last year probably wasn't a good example.
Pretty well hit opposite way. Edmonds with the room on the track, and he's got it. And Snyder retired.
He was 7-0 with an ERA during day, with an ERA that was 2 runs less during the day than his night.
So it makes no sense whatsoever. Who knows? Tom Pagnozzi, and he'll be with us tomorrow up in the broadcast booth as Mark Mulder takes a ball inside. Bottom of the 5th now, and it's 3-0 Cardinals. Mulder grounded to short his first time up. 2 balls, no strikes. David Eckstein on deck, and then Abraham Nunez. Cardinals will welcome the Giants to town and Mike Matheny on Friday night. Barry Bonds saying he may return in September. It's a daily update with Bonds.
Isn't it? Oh, man.
That's a situation now where, from the franchise's perspective, they went out and got Mike Matheny, older player. Omar Vizquel, older player. I mean, they built it for this year to make a run, and then possibly next year. They thought Bonds might be done after next season. And who knows, if he would have set the all-time home run record, he might have retired this year. As Mulder picks up a base hit into right. But it certainly leaves the club at a disadvantage, not knowing what he wants to do, especially at the trade deadline. You go out and try to get an impact player if you know Barry Bonds is coming back, maybe a pitcher. Do you not trade Jason Schmidt, which they, you know, finally said we're going to keep him here, but at that time they didn't know. They thought about getting rid of him. Sure. You owe it to the club to give them a little idea what you're thinking.
Do you know? And I mean, they're like the media. They read what he does in his you know, web page. Do they have the insurance on him?
Interesting.
And if they don't make it, do they want him to come back?
Right. Well, there was talk with Paul Merrill after everything that took place with him in Baltimore that The Orioles wanted to wash their hands of that situation and just get rid of him. As Mulder is running,
perfect.
Eckstein executes it perfectly, and Mulder though stops at second base as the hit and run was on. And again, Joe Patini coaching over at first base and not Dave McKay.
See Mulder taking off out there, and Eckstein just dumping it out into right field. Mulder saw it, but I think he realized 2 bases at one time, and the right fielder was coming in. Snyder, remember last year, was the third baseman, so should have a pretty good arm.
Interesting is Nunez was getting in the box. It was Joe Patini whistling down to Abraham, trying to get his attention with runners at first and second. Doing that from the first base coach's box. And he squares and bunts it foul. Abraham is 0 for 2 tonight. He is struck out and grounded out to second. Now Jose Oquendo from the third base coach's box comes all the way down, tells Nunez what he wants to do, flashes those signs, and here we go.
So it seems Patini messed him up.
So this one's going to be perfect. Mulder, the runner at second base, a short lead there. Eckstein at first.
Oh man,
They had him picked off and they wanted to go there. Out at second base, Mulder never saw it, but Royce Clayton flashed from his shortstop position to the bag.
Just comes in behind him, you feel him a little bit, but then he broke to the bag, and Webb threw the pitch home. So you can see, watch how he gets behind him, but the pitcher didn't look back, and then he bunts the ball foul. Jabbing at it, never got the bat in fair territory. He's trying to bunt it hard to get it by the pitcher and make the third baseman vacate the bag and field the bunt, letting Mulder to just get in there unscathed.
Here comes an 0-2. Nunez again squares and takes a ball outside. This is where you really have to have confidence in your hitter at the plate for a couple of reasons. Now he's got 2 strikes on him, and at the beginning of the bat, you know, you've got Mark Mulder out there at second base, short lead, and doesn't run that well. So it needs to be a very good bunt placed by your hitter here.
Keep on wondering, kind of surprised they haven't switched off. Butcher boy it.
To punch it towards the opposite field.
Just punch it right towards the opposite field, like you say, the vacated shortstop area.
Doesn't do the job, and Nunez thought he pulled back. Instead, it's strike 3. So he is struck out twice tonight. And now it's Pujols. And you want to sometimes do yourself a favor with Pujols on deck.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing is you know, I guess they felt like if they wanted to walk Pujols and load the bases, so be it. Remember, every hitter is a potential double play candidate, though, with a Webb's good sinker.
And the first pitch to Albert is a called strike. He is doubled to left and grounded out to short. Defense is deep. They play him to pull a little bit. We've talked about it time and again how I don't know how you defend Albert Pujols. He hits it everywhere.
Deep's a good start.
That's a good start, is right. 0-1 pitch. Edmonds on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and second.
You know, I think this probably as good as any is swinging everybody around a little bit towards left field. Double play depth up the middle. First and third basemen can play back. First baseman's well off the line.
Here's a 1-1. 1-2 now on Albert. Pujols edging towards 100 RBIs. He's got 94 on the year, 33 home runs. And with a 1 for 2 night, 338 is the batting average.
First man in history to have 30 or more home runs first 5 seasons, but he'll be the first to do 30 home runs, 100 runs scored, and 100 RBIs. First in history to do that also.
1-2 pitch, a curveball, misses in.
So he's got a big curveball that a good nasty sinker, changeup that he's left up in the zone, and then he's got that slow, tantalizing curveball. Sinker is his big weapon.
The 2-2. Another curveball just tapped off the plate. Back-to-back curveballs in this at bat to Pujols. With 2 strikes, Pujols 9 homers, 32 RBIs.
The big thing is for a power hitter, you know, the 45 strikeouts.
In today's game, that's minuscule.
Hits for high average all the time is because he has the ability to put the ball in play and yet doesn't sacrifice power or production numbers.
The full count. You see the numbers on Albert. This crowd comes alive. First and second, 1 out, and a 3-2 pitch. Pujols taps it left side. Ross will tag Mulder, goes to first, and they get the double play. Pujols hits into the double play. We have played 5. St. Louis on top. Lou here at the ballpark. Hall of Famer Lou Brock peeling off number 20 in our Busch Beer countdown here at Busch Stadium. Lou, of course, with his lovely wife, and that's a live look at what's happening out there in right field. Lou Brock peeling off number 20 tonight. We hope to visit with Lou maybe later in our telecast here at Busch Stadium. August 13th, 1979 here at Busch Stadium. A famous day here at Busch in this ballpark when Lou Brock picked up hit number 3,000 against the Chicago Cubs.
Dennis Lamp right off his forearm. What a thrill it was for me to be a teammate of Lou Brock. Just an awesome teammate. One of the greatest players to ever play this game. Set the trend with his base stealer. 3,000 hits also.
That is pulled to Nunez. Diving stop. Settles. Low throw to Albert. Out number 1 as we start play here in the 6th. Well, we talked about it earlier. Our fallen hero, the McAtee family, is with us. They're with us here in the booth. We got all of them up here.
Yeah.
Chance to meet Jim Edmonds and the gang. A chance to get an autograph from Albert Pujols, from Al Raboski, from Wayne Hagen, Mike Shannon. Headed to the Cardinals clubhouse, and there's a good play by Abraham Nunez. Took a hit away.
You know, once again, because of Nunez or whether it's Seabold or Mabry playing third base, you allowed the time for Scott Rowland to be healthy.
And here's the leadoff man for Arizona, Royce Clayton. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fouled back. Lou Brock was a .257 hitter in his 2+ years in Chicago. Only 50 steals.
Well, he really, at that time, he was told to be kind of you know, third place, even you know, an RBI run producer. It wasn't until he came to St. Louis and they said, hey, we want you to be a table setter. I mean, you don't want me to hit home runs? You don't want me to do it? No. We want you to steal bases. Why don't you get on base and steal bases? I said, oh, okay. But Buck O'Neill signed Lou Brock.
That's right.
And this man at the plate, Royce Clayton, he's got one of the best, you know, at really knowing about the Negro League history. And really applaud him for that.
Nunez to his left. Good play for out number 2. Lou Brock's career numbers: 938 steals, over 3,000 hits, 149 home runs, 900 ribbies for Lou Brock.
You realize that one year he hit 21 home runs.
And back then, that's a lot of home runs.
Yeah, and the fact that he hit one of the longest home runs ever at the Polo Grounds.
Many believe the longest home run here, Willie McCovey.
Out in right field, upper deck, through the tunnel.
I think McGuire would give him a run for his money in batting practice, but not in live play here at Busch. Abraham is busy here in the top of the 6th. Mulder hitting ground ball after ground ball. St. Louis on top, 3-0.
Warm night at the ballpark. Cardinals enjoying a 3-0 lead. Coming up tonight after the ball game on the Midwest Sports Report. Complete post-game coverage that includes Tony La Russa live, player interviews, and your phone calls. Plus, we'll check out some of the craziest Cardinal fans in the area. It's all coming up after the game. We might even re-rack last night's So Taguchi interview, Dan.
Oh, I can't wait. That'll make me stay tuned and stay up later. Here's Edmonds. Is Jim still listening to us? Is he out there listening to us still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jim, do you love just doing that Tony La Russa interview afterwards? I mean, you guys get a lot out of him down there. He just seems to really connect with you guys.
Say it again, Dan.
I said when Tony La Russa is doing his media interview down there, it just seems like you guys connect with the Cardinals skipper. He loves doing that, doesn't he?
I don't know if he loves it, but I will say this. After a win, he's much better. And last night on the Tony La Russa scale, I would say he was downright giddy.
What's on that scale? Giddy and what else?
Giddy, not so giddy, not giddy at all.
How many times you've been reprimanded?
I've lost track. You know, and I'll be honest, sometimes before the game, if I ask the wrong question, a foul ball by Edmonds, he will take the fungo bat to me. It's happened not once, not twice, more than I care to count.
Like to tell us where you get hit?
Where do you get hit, Jim, with that fungo bat?
Where did I get hit? I don't want to mention where. Not very comfortable.
All right, Jim, thank you. Count of 2-2 on Edmonds.
How many people subject themselves to immediately after the game before at times you can't even catch a breath or let out some of your frustrations, and there he is doing those interviews. Thank goodness the Cardinals are 31 games over 500.
Or he'll go into the locker room and find Steve Klein after certain issues during a game. That's been known to happen too.
He did what?
Let's not revisit it. It's a new year.
I'll be back, guys.
Now that was funny. And that's ball 4 to Edmonds. And it brings in John Mabry. He's 2 for 2 with a home run and a double. Second time that Edmonds has been on base. The Cardinals have a lead of 3-0 here in their half of the 6th.
Webb's first walk of the night, his 46th of the year. Last year led the National League in walks, so about 114 or so.
We are watching a much different Mark Mulder tonight than what we saw in Wrigley Field.
This is nighttime, Mark. Stars come out at night, you know.
That must be it.
That's it.
You have broken it down once again, Al, as Mabry hits into a double play. What's on tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Jason Marquis, 9-11 with an ERA that's over 4, will take on Claudio Vargas, 6-6, a 4.57 ERA. Diamondbacks Cardinals tomorrow, 6:30 on FSN Midwest. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser.
Chicago beat Oswalt and Houston. So Cardinals hold on to win this game. They'll be 12 ahead of Houston, 16 in front of, 17 in front of the Cubs.
Out to right field. Gritzalonic retired, and we have played 6. Cardinals on top by 3 runs.
It's been so good that it seems like it's a lot bigger lead than that.
3 runs.
Here's Gonzalez in the first pitch upstairs from Mulder, who has allowed just 3 hits. The Cardinals have out hit Arizona 8-3 and lead it 3-0.
His season cut short a couple months last year.
Lines this one towards Eckstein. Diving to his left, a leadoff single by Gonzalez. And he's 1 for 3, and it brings in Troy Glass. He's been on base twice tonight with a walk and a single. 4th hit tonight for Arizona.
can't hold him down, and his first hit in quite a while, and takes a hop over the glove. But Gonzalez is the franchise all-time leader in runs, hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, total bases, and games.
And he did what every kid dreams about, winning the World Series with a game-winning hit. Did it for Arizona, a blue pit against Mariano Rivera. And the Diamondbacks won the World Series against New York. And our guest tomorrow, my guest on the pregame show, will be Mark Grace, who was part of that Diamondbacks championship team. And we'll talk about that. It was such a historic series in many ways. Right after 9/11, the emotions of it, the way that the Yankees won a few of those games off of Young-Hung Kim. Scott Brocious with a walk-off home run. Derek Jeter past midnight one time in one of the games with a home run to win it.
Tino Martinez.
Tino Martinez with a home run. One of the best World Series in recent memory.
Yeah, one that truly was necessary to be played, part of the healing process. It's played by Diaz.
And now we talk about so many great sports moments in this ballpark. Football and soccer, baseball,
Beatles.
the Beatles, but maybe none better than Jack Buck that night.
Yes, good point. Jack, how do you pick out a defining moment in his career? But he had so many of them, but that was a special one.
It's kind of 2-2. We've had so many players tell us that they were getting ready for their games, and the clubhouse TV was on here in St. Louis on this game, and watching Jack Buck deliver that was just uplifting. The reason why we should be here.
Yeah, and everybody knew it was time to play again.
2-2 is hit out to left center field, and Mulder is in a little bit of trouble now. It's first and second, nobody out. Back-to-back singles to start this 7th inning. And here is Jackson now, and he is hit into a double play tonight and flies to right.
All the hits have been dispersed between the first 4 in the batting order, but he's retired the guys. Breaking ball, getting elevated just a little bit, down away. Ross lifted it, but at this point, 5th through 9, there's only been 1 walk, no hits.
Outfield is straight away, and the first pitch taken for a ball. Houston loses tonight 4-2 to Chicago. New York over Pittsburgh 5-1. Philadelphia beat Washington. That's a key game for the Phillies, and they're on fire. 4-3 the final there. Florida beat San Diego 6-0. So this could be a key victory for Arizona if they can come back. Hit left side. How about another double play? That's one. On to first. The pick by Pujols, and they get the double play as Gritzelanek was taken out hard there at second base. Great pick over there at first by Albert.
Well, he double clutches. That gets Glass on top of Gritzelanek. Tries to go up over. Short hops the ball to Pujols. So a nice scoop. Little extra time. Really wasn't as much contact as it might have appeared, but a low throw and a nice scoop by Pujols saves a run right there.
That's 3 double plays turned by the Cardinals tonight. There's Chad Tracy. He struck out and grounded out. First pitch, a strike.
Remember, Mulder has just absolutely dominated against left-handed batters. Left-handers batting 186 coming into this game for Mark Mulder.
7 ground ball outs for Mulder tonight. On top 3-0 here in the top of the 7th. Curveball in the dirt. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of finals over in the American League. Baltimore beat Oakland 5-3. Kansas City loses again 11-5. Detroit over Boston 6-5. And Texas beat Cleveland 3-0. The 1-1 is hit right side, and Gritzelanek is there. Mulder out of trouble. And it's time to stretch here in St. Louis. Midway through the 7th. And the Cardinals on top. Nancy Ratzliff is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Nancy qualifies for the Hyundai Tucson drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. My buddy Steve Uline with Tom Pagnozzi. And here goes Sho Taguchi again. Down the third base line. But he'll stop at first base. A leadoff hit for Sho.
A multi-hit game for him, and Gonzalez getting the ball, hustling it back into the infield, keeps him with a single.
Steve Uline, an executive at Anheuser-Busch, and of course Tom Pagnozzi will be in our booth tomorrow night.
To the inside, he just turns on it down into the corner. Barry Glass kind of slowed it down a little bit.
And here is Einar Diaz with a runner at first base. Cardinals with 9 hits tonight and lead it by 3 runs. Diaz has hit into a double play. And he's also grounded out to third. Misspoke earlier. It's 10 ground ball outs by Mark Mulder. 3 double plays. We started the evening off by saying we're going to see a lot of ground balls, and we have not been disappointed with these 2 pitchers. Diaz squares, pushes it towards first, bunts it perfectly, and it brings up Mulder.
There you get an insurance run out there.
And Mulder picked up a base hit his first time up, and I'm sure maybe in the back of Tony La Russa's mind, Al, is the fact that twice he has hit the ball hard tonight. Once a base hit, the other time very hard at the shortstop.
Well, and hopefully he, at the very least, would be able to pull the ball and get Taguchi over there. Well, one thing too is we haven't seen it tonight, but Webb has 12 wild pitches on the season.
Mulder into center, drops for a hit. Taguchi being waved in as the ball gets away, and it's 4-0 Cardinals. Misplayed out there by Terrero. 4-zip St. Louis.
He came in charging hard and trying to make a throw to get Taguchi out the plate, but the ball took a little funny hop on that new turf out there, and it scored a single RBI and an error. See him come in charge, but it goes and kicks to his left and gets by him. So you have a better look at it this way. You see he comes in here, he's thinking, okay, I'm gonna get a good jump, and there you see the ball caroms away from him, bounces away, and Mulder helping himself.
Helps himself, and again, it's worth repeating the numbers for Mark Mulder when he gets 4 runs of support, as Eckstein takes a curveball low. 75-10 and 96 career starts when he receives 4 or more runs of support. 4-0 tonight here for the Cardinals.
And I think there's a few of those times he lost games this year.
No activity for the Cardinals in their bullpen, but a righty getting loose quickly for Arizona.
They've had trouble with their bullpen. So in many cases, Cormier warming up, a right-hander for Arizona.
Very shallow with David Eckstein at the dish, and it's worth noting you've got the pitcher out there at second, so with him running, you know, you've probably got built in a couple of maybe 2-3 steps, as opposed to having a position player out there running from second base.
And what happens is, you know, when you play shallow, the ball can get in between you and get to the wall a lot easier. We've seen them not be the fleetest of foot in the outfield too.
2-1 pitch. Eckstein shoots it right side. That's a base hit. Mulder is going to be stopped though at third, and it's going to be a chance for Nunez off the glove of the first baseman Jackson and into right, and Eckstein picks up a hit, his second consecutive base hit. He's now 2 for 4, and runners at first and third, still 1 out, and the batter is Nunez.
Right-handed fielding first baseman. And so it's to the opposite of his glove hand. He deflects it, and then it gets by Cintron, the second baseman. The right fielder, because he was playing shallow, was able to get to it quickly, but with only one out, they didn't want to run Mulder into an out at home plate.
So it's first and third. Chance for Nunez. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals, LLC. Runner has scored 10 out of 12 times in this situation for Nunez.
Squeezes, or even a safety squeeze in this situation. Last time he bunted so poorly, or attempted to bunt, couldn't call it bunting. And you know, we always see Tony, it's pitch to pitch, his mind working, changing off strategy.
Nunez 0 for 3 with those 2 strikeouts. See where Gonzalez on left is very shallow. Room into right center field, a big gap out there. And to check on both runners.
Part of that strategy is still trying to interpret the intent of Nunez at the plate. Maybe you can pick off a base runner, but maybe Nunez tips off something.
Here it comes. Down perfectly. Nunez hustling, makes it close. Oh, they just got him at first. And Mulder scores the 5th run for St. Louis tonight. Nunez got it down perfectly.
That time it was perfect. Charlie Russo, I think he's employed the squeeze like 12 times this year, and it's been successful, I think, every time but maybe 1 or 2 twice. First baseman gets it here. Don't even have to make it that perfect, but the only play was the first baseman to field it in a very close play as he just kind of lobbed the ball down to first base. And now they'll intentionally pass Pujols.
All these squeezes and hit and run sacrifices, and Tony La Russa doing it with a lineup that's not his everyday lineup. Of course, no Sanders, no Walker, so trying to manufacture something offensively, and more times than not, it has worked out for the Cardinals this year. Nunez now 11 out of 13 in that spot, and getting that runner home. And Pujols looks at ball 4 on the intentional pass. On base for the 2nd time tonight.
Bring
and
in
with
Buddy
Edmonds coming in to hit, it'll be Buddy Groom, the left-hander, we saw last night for Arizona. It'll be the lefty-lefty matchup. So we'll have first and second. Edmonds digging in. And a trade, 24 games for Buddy Groom, and now just 6 for Arizona. But look at the difference in ERA. He is near 7 here in his National League stint with the Diamondbacks.
Pitched a scoreless frame last night with a couple strikeouts. And Edmonds was one of those. So he knows a little bit about Buddy Groom, who set a major league record a few years back. He appeared in 70 or more games for 7 straight seasons.
Intentional pass to Pujols brings up first and second now. 2 down for Edmonds. Cardinals have a 5-0 lead. He's 4 for 18 against Buddy Groom. Edmonds hitting .271 coming into play tonight against left-handed pitching, and just .270 against right-handed pitching. So pretty even. About as even as you get.
Surprising. It seems like it's crept up all of a sudden, but hitting .320 with runners in scoring position is Jim.
One 1-0 pitch. Edmonds takes ball 2. Diamondbacks will have Torrero, Snyder, and a pinch hitter coming up. in the 8th inning. And it's 3-0. You've got Mabry on deck. He's swinging a hot bat in this game. Mabry, although hitting into a double play, has a 2-run homer, has scored 3 runs, and has a double. Edmonds hitting .261 in this spot.
Well, you know, probably take a pitch.
Here comes a 3-1 delivery. Now full count on Edmonds. We will visit with the great Lou Brock in the 8th inning as he has made his way to our broadcast booth. Runners at first and second. Off with the pitch. There they go. Edmonds looks at ball 4. So the bases are loaded now for John Mabry. Eckstein at third. Pujols at second base after his intentional pass. The walk to Edmonds, and here's Mabry.
John actually has a better average against left-handers than he does righties. Keep the front shoulder in.
Talking about those first pitches, he'll go after him. This one he takes for a strike.
Wasn't to his liking. There you see the 280 average against left-handers.
One ball, one strike.
Straight away, deep in the outfield. Maybe playing to pull a little bit in the infield.
Here's a 1-1. Fouled back, and a good cut by Mabry.
See John keep that front shoulder in, go the opposite field as Buddy Groom tries to keep a lot of pitches on the outer half of the plate.
Little low, and it's 2-2.
The more pitches you see, the more likelihood of a mistake.
He does not want to go to a full count with the bases loaded, so it could be a pitch to Mabry's liking here. 2-2. Hit out of play. Another huge crowd in attendance tonight on this Wednesday, August 17th of 2005. Cardinals trying to pick up win number 76 tonight. Sacks jam. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mabry swings and misses, and he strands the bases loaded. With the Cardinals add to their lead, it's now 5-0. A visit with the great Lou. Look at the man we're going to be talking to, the great Lou Brock. August 13th, 1979, hit number 3,000 for number 20 against the Chicago Cubs, a team that 15 years earlier had traded him. What were they thinking, Lou? They traded you away, and of course you become the Hall of Famer. Now with the Chicago Cubs, you had 50 steals and a .257 average in 2.5 seasons with Chicago. You come to St. Louis, everything turns around for you and your career. So I ask you, what happened?
Well, I think for what really happened, I had a defining moment. Generally, it takes a ball player about 3 years to make it in the big leagues. I had 2.5 years, got traded, and in that process, I had may have been the hottest hitter in baseball for about the 2 weeks prior to being traded. And I noticed until I got to St. Louis.
And all of a sudden, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Hey, Lou, tell everybody about what your day was like with the Cubs.
Here's a grounder left side as Nunez will take it.
I'm laughing because I told Al one year we lost 108 ball games, and after each ball game we have to sit in our locker and think about how we lost the game. And I got in a habit of that because we were losing so many games.
108 times.
Yeah. And I came to St. Louis. The first game that I actually played with the Cardinals, we lost. Out of habit, I went and sat in front of my locker and stared at it. And I looked around, and 25 guys staring at me. They go, "What are you doing?" He said, "We did this at the Cubs," and they said, "We don't do it here." So I had my initiation in the first game.
But I mean, also too, the fact when you had the college of coaches there, and you know, everyone had a different plan for Lou Brock, and you know, you'd have a day game, and you said you were wore out before the game even started because you were on the field at 8, 9 o'clock doing all kinds of drills.
Well, when you're young and you're coming up, and one of the things, Al, most people forget that that 3 years or 4 year span, they did have a 14-man coaching staff that actually ran the ball club, and certainly if you can look at my face there was no smile on that ball club with the experiment with the league, with the coaches.
Lou, you were had a chance to meet one of the greats in this profession of Major League Baseball, and that's Buck O'Neil, and he signed you, one of the great Negro League legends, and certainly just a living legend right now at the age of 93.
He's incredible, and Buck, in fact, I was looking at the home run. They hit it. Gibson struck out 17. He said, "I never hit when he pitched," so I actually hit a home run in that game. But Buck O'Neil actually signed me in college, and at the big league level, I was having some difficulty. The Cubs signed Buck as the first black coach so that he could be around me and to help me become acclimated to the big league. So I was the only big league player who had his, quote, father in the room with him. So I got a lot of kidding about that, but Buck is one of the finest gentlemen you're ever going to meet.
Have you been down to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum?
I have. In fact, I'm going to be going next week. Buck has his tournament, golf tournament, so I have to go and visit that as well.
Great Lou Brock with us here in the booth, and of course we are now just 19 away from seeing this stadium go away. Your favorite memories playing here at Busch?
Well, I've had a lot of them, and you know, one of those off the cuff memory I had of Al Robosky standing behind the mound throwing the ball at his glove and missed it. You know how he went back and threw the ball? He actually missed it, and everybody laughed, and he waited for me to come from left field and stand on the mound and to ask if I'd laughed. And I had a straight face and said I did not.
The great Lou Brock with us. He's going to stay with us. That was the record breaker with Brock. Lou is going to stay with us. It's 5-0 St. Louis. Alert, scores, breaking news, and more on your mobile phone bill for $3.99. You can also text the word cards to 65246 or MLBGO, and charges will appear on your mobile phone bill. Great Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer, is with us, and you were telling us a little story about Al Robosky before the break. Was this guy mean, or was he truly a good teammate and a nice guy? Because he frightens little children when they come up to the booth.
Actually, he was a nice guy. He really is a nice guy. I know he doesn't want people to know he's a nice guy, but he really is.
I'm not so sure about that, Lou.
Well, he talks a strong game, however, but he is a wonderful person.
Let me tell you something. We saw some of that video of the World Series. If people don't realize it, he still owns a lot of World Series records for highest batting average in multiple World Series, stolen bases in World Series. And you talk about doing it on the center stage. Lou Brock stepped up and was even greater when the Cardinals were in the World Series.
Well, one of those records I'm really proud of, and that was back-to-back World Series. I had 25 hits. I don't know whether you see that. There's some guys who can break that kind of a record, but the way baseball is played today, you go out and get a player, rent a player at the end of the season, and you can change the course of your team, provided that player does something outstanding. But during my era, the team itself, we were together all year, so you knew pretty much what you could do. And so you had a shot at records like that.
Wow. Back at Cormier, and he comes up with a gem. Wow. That's like hit number 3,000 back to the mound, man.
Yeah.
Dennis Lamp, huh?
Yeah, Dennis Lamp should have gotten out of the way. You know, 3,000 hits has to go in the center field, and that right there, Cormier, got to let that ball go.
Did Dennis Lamp knock you down the pitch before?
Yeah, it's sort of a fastball under the chin, and I had gotten a hit prior, first time at bat, by poking at the ball, sink a ball away from it, and slapped it down the left field line for doubles. I knew that the ball was going to be inside the next time at bat.
Hey, Taguchi's at the plate. You were in spring training the first time you saw him. How much has he changed as a player?
I thought this young fella here has really developed into a fine ball player. He was a little timid, shy, and looked at best a double-A player. Since then, he has developed into a fine player with a tremendous ability to hit in the clutch, and you don't find those things off the bench. So these are something that a guy has to have the passion to do it, and he has certainly developed that passion.
You talked about back-to-back World Series. How about this Cardinals team from 04 to 05? As you watch it, Lou, on a night-to-night basis, you call St. Louis home. You watch a lot of the games. What do you think of this team?
We have a good chance at it. I think the pitcher staff must stay healthy. They need to go deep into the game. Deep into the game simply means that they got to go into the 7th inning. Otherwise, you're going to put too much pressure on the middle relief, and they aren't going to be able to handle that on a daily basis.
This guy can hit a little bit.
Yeah, he's the Hank Aaron of our day. People compare him pretty much to Joe DiMaggio, but he's the kind of guy to make you sweat when you come to bat, because you know he's going to hit the ball somewhere. Somebody got to make the play. So you never have the ability to relax on defense when he's hitting.
There's a grounder to short, taken by Clayton to his left. Good play. And there's 2 outs. How about Tony La Russa? That's another guy that I think our fans would be curious to hear you talk about. He is headed to the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. He'll wind up second all time and wins before it's all said and done. And he does it, Lou, just a little different than when you played.
Yeah, I call him a micromanager, so to speak, because his hand is on every aspect of the game. Sometimes a manager allows players to do certain things. Tony, on the other hand, will want to orchestrate what that player does, and he needs the kind of player who can pull that off. And that is one of the greatest asset of Tony, is being able to select a player who can do that, and that player at the same time perform at the high level. So that is unique in itself.
Why has base stealing fallen off so much now?
Because there had not been a player that come along to change the face of the game. Base stealing wasn't part of the game when it came in. It was just the type of player that came in to change the face of the game. So that home run hitter came in, changed the face of the game.
Yeah.
That would be a base stealer come along to change the face of the game as well.
Lou, describe the mental toughness a base stealer must have, and how he has to feel that, you know, he has to have a tremendous ego and defy everyone.
Well, I call it base running arrogance. You need that because you're out there on the bases and you're trying to steal a base, and actually it's at war because you're taking a piece of territory behind the enemy line, and they don't like it. One of the things, I call it the 20-second syndrome. Home run hitter hit a home run, 20 seconds takes him to circular bases. Pitchers' heads are usually down, and now the player's out of sight. That's the most embarrassing thing to a pitcher, is a home run. The next most embarrassing thing is a stolen base. You steal the base 5 seconds, and the pitcher turns with the ball in his hand. Look out there, you're still out there.
Right.
So now you're at war. There's a little different type of intimidation that goes on. That's why the arrogance is so important, that you must stand there and take those stairs.
2-2 is popped up. Shallow left. Gonzalez will take it. Lou Brock can't thank you enough. Hold on. Go ahead, Al.
One word, your war against Jerry Grody, catcher of the Mets.
Oh, well, Grody was tough, but I don't know. We were just at war. He had a tremendous ability, had a real desire to win, but it was always a war.
Good to see you, Lou. Hot pitch of the game. And it's a strikeout, Mulder to Royce Clayton. That's your Hardy's hot pitch of the game way back when. First batter of the game, and it's the top of the 9th. And Mulder's trying to go the distance. Our thanks to the great Lou Brock. Fun to visit with him and get his thoughts on this Cardinals team and his wonderful career here in St. Louis. Sold out crowd, 41,407 in attendance this evening. Lou Brock, Al.
He's best.
Neat man.
Great teammate. He was so helpful to me, young player, and took me under his wing. And so if you know, like I said, I always said I was a nice mama's boy, and then I met Torrey and Brock and Gibson and McCarver, Carlton. Those guys all corrupted me, and I've been thanking them ever since.
Ever since, huh? Now you've got your own ballpark saloon. We can blame Lou Brock on that.
He's got Reverend Jackie now.
My, how things change. Swing and a miss and a good curveball from Mulder. This game recap brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of Major League Baseball. An error early on set the tone once again for game number 2. John Mabry, a double and a home run tonight. Scored a couple of runs. And then after that, it's been Mr. Mulder. He's been tough tonight.
Been outstanding. Trying to get second complete game and second shutout of the season and run his record to 14-6. This is what I expect to do. You know, you knew this was going to be a tough opponent, Brandon Webb, and you knew he would respond. And I think this is the kind of guy that's going to show up in the big games. Didn't happen in the day games, but at nighttime he's been special. John, after that last swing, is asking home plate umpire for a little time.
Sometimes you'll see a player strain something. Grudzielanek positioned perfectly, 2 down. Pitch by pitch feature brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers.
You know, he's pitching, he's dealing. You know, the sinker's been good. Everything's been staying down, working on both sides of the plate. The breaking ball right there caught him by surprise. Now their breaking ball laced hard, but defense behind him has been very good tonight also. 5 hits allowed. One of them off the bat of Gonzalez his last time up.
2 outs, first pitch, strike 1 to Gonzalez.
There's been at times where the fans have kind of wondered about Mulder, but here he is, about to be 14-6.
Round ball, this should do it. Grudzielanek there. Over to Pujols. That's a winner for St. Louis once again. Win number 76. 76-44 for the Cardinals. Diamondbacks at 56-65. Mulder, fantastic tonight. 5-hit shutout. Back with more in a moment. 41,000 here tonight. Another sold-out crowd here at Busch, and they enjoyed it. As Mark Mulder was outstanding. And this is our Bud Light play of the game. The final out, Gonzalez to Grudzielanek and over to Pujols. Mulder is now 14-6, a 5-hit shutout for the Cardinals lefty. And St. Louis, Al, is now 76-44 on the year.
32 games over 500, and the starting pitching continues to impress. And, you know, and the spare parts do the same thing. They've just been outstanding, and this machine doesn't stop.
Let's take a look at Mulder's night en route to his 14th victory on the year.
Now he got the leadoff man Clayton. He struck him out, and it goes out there to Gonzalez. So he had good defense behind him. He threw a lot of ground balls, and that was the final play, and he's 14-6.
And the other thing that stands out too, Al, is the fact that Houston loses tonight. So now they're 12 games back of St. Louis in second place in the Central Division.
And then the Cubbies, they don't pick up any ground. They're 17.5 games back, but this team just keeps on playing hard. They keep on getting good news on getting Molina back as early as maybe tomorrow. Walker's taking batting practice. He looks like he will be back before September. And then Reggie's right on pace for maybe the beginning of September. And the only guy that's kind of dismal news is Roland.
Our final tonight, 5-0 Cardinals. 5-11-0 for St. Louis. 0-5-2 for the Diamondbacks. Mulder is now 14-6. Brandon Webb takes a loss. He's 10-9. It took 2 hours and 14 minutes here at Busch. Cardinals will go for the sweep tomorrow. It will be Jason Marquis against Claudio Vargas. We hope to see you at 6:30 with the pregame show. For Al, I'm Dan. Midwest Sports Report comes your way now.
Now, your Midwest Sports Report, presented by Busch Light.
Hello there. Welcome inside our FSN studios for the Cards post-game version of the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. I'm Rob King.
And I'm Pat Paris. Back to Busch for a reaction in a moment. But first, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill wants you to know who's Hot Shots hot. And it's John Mabry. Mabry doubles to right center and scores then in the second inning. And then in the fourth, Mabry takes Brandon Webb deep to left for a 2-run shot. Mabry's 7th homer of the season, makes it 3-zip Cards. Mabry finishes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored, and the Cards go on to win by the final of 5-0. He was certainly Hot Shots hot.
All right, for more on tonight's game, we're going to go back out to Busch Stadium. Another guy who's Hot Shots hot, the starting pitcher, Mark Mulder, standing by with Jim Hayes, brought to you by Ace Mortgage. Jim?
Mark Mulder, a second complete game shutout of the season. Mark, since the All-Star break, you're 4-1. Are you starting to get into a comfort zone?
I feel really good tonight. You know, I've been trying, especially against the Cubs. Dunk told me I was trying to do a little too much, and so I tried to do as least as possible tonight. You know, I tried to really take it easy out there and just make pitches instead of trying to overthrow something, and it worked out.
Looking at your career numbers, daytime stats very good, but this season, for some reason, the nighttime stats much better. Anything to that?
It's just coincidence, you know. Tony said to me, he goes, "What's going on with day?" You know, but I mean, normally in the past, I've always pitched well in the day, you know, so it's just something, it's a fluke, you know, so try to get it better next time out.
How about this Cardinals team? Tonight it's Mabry, but it seems a different hero every night.
It really is, man. I mean, with the injuries we've had, someone different is stepping up every night, and it's been a huge lift for all of us.
Mark, congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, that's Mark Mulder. Hasn't lost at Busch Stadium since June 11.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Much different post-game interview from So Taguchi to Mark Mulder here tonight, and both guys have been terrific in this series, and Mulder really set the tone early on, didn't he, Al?
Oh, he really did, and, you know, starting pitching does that. If you can go out there, throw a couple zeros, then you allow your teammates to get a run or two for you, everything settles in. But when you throw strikes, you keep the ball down, you get ground balls, you're going to do well with this offense. And Mulder now has won 14 games, and he's won 14 out of his last of his 20 decisions. But he even touched on it. I looked up the numbers, and what has happened this year with his daytime numbers is against what his career numbers are. He actually, in his career, has been a little bit better in day baseball.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights. In game number 1, it was So Taguchi setting the tone, as we said, with a 4-hit night. Now John Mabry comes up big his first 2 times up, a double, a run scored. Then this is the big blow in the game, an opposite field home run and a 2-run shot for Mabry. And then after that, Al, it's small ball.
Well, small ball once again. Nunez drops down the squeeze, and the Cardinals have had that play implemented. With all the injuries going down, when you got the 4 guys, Tony La Russa said, you know, I'm going to have to manufacture runs. I'm going to have to play small ball. And he's got a team that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and they also can manufacture runs.
And it will be Jason Marquis looking for victory number 10 tomorrow night. He's had a bunch of cracks at it, Al. He's got to get it sometime, and let's hope it's tomorrow.
Yeah, he's only won once in his last 11 starts, so he is due.
All right. Al Hrabowski, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals win it 5-zip, and we send it back to the studio.
Guys, thanks very much. Don't forget, more interviews are coming your way, including Tony La Russa's post-game comments, plus your phone calls at 1-888-RING-FOX. But hopefully some help on the way for the St. Louis Cardinals with Larry Walker. He's been out, of course, for a while. Reggie Sanders has been out. Scott Rowland, Yadier Molina on the disabled list as well. Abraham Nunez has been able to fill in. Some other guys like So Taguchi and John Mabry as well. Well, hopefully Larry Walker on the disabled list since June 25th will be able to rejoin the Cardinals lineup soon.
It does feel better. I haven't been doing much for 3 weeks, so that's the solution right now. Is not doing much makes it feel good. So, you know, swinging the bat is going to be my biggest test, and I'm going to go do it for the next 3 days, probably in a row, and see how it reacts to it.
Be nice to get him back. Tony La Russa has stepped to the podium at Busch. Let's go there now live for his post-game comments brought to you by Jack in the Box.
I mean, you can't say that John and so and Abe. I mean, our new bench is Scott and Skip and those guys, but our regulars now are the guys that are playing, and they're playing as well as the guys that are hurt.
Tony, you in the postseason before last year, you took whether the game was here or on the road into account. Would you ever take into account day or night with a guy like Mulder, or is that just a total coincidence?
Well, I don't think there's. I think when Mark has struggled, there's been a lot of things in common whether he pitches day or pitches at night. So I just don't see that it's a day-night thing. And you know, I looked at his starts from here to the end. He's got some day starts, and I mean, what do I do? Tell me we're going to skip him and not pitch him. I don't think that's smart. I mean, it's not anything that he can't remedy.
Career-wise, his numbers during the day are very good.
Exactly what I mean. That's why you look at that. It's just one of those freak things that it's a nice challenge for him. I think, was it on the road? I think maybe he gets the Sunday game in Washington or something. You know, it's a nice challenge for him.
Mabry's numbers factored heavily into getting the start.
Yeah, I mean, plus, you know, I'm always feel good when John plays because you know he's going to be playing like the 7th game of the World Series.
How about So? He's in the 2nd, 7th spot. Doesn't matter where So bats. He just produces.
Well, what we've learned is, you know, once you turn that lineup on the first inning, the next time your spot comes up, it could be the leadoff, could be second, could be third. You know, so you got to be ready to do everything, and our guys are versatile. But, you know, I think he's excited about his chance to play. You can see it, and he's taking advantage. He's been very productive for us. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, he's really played well. You know, a little smaller version of Scott Rowland. Well, that's a concession to the guy that's pitching. You swing the bat, you're going to double play. It's just, I mean, he can get a ground ball with the best of them.
Have you ever used the bunt as liberally as you have these last 2 months in the season?
Well, I think we're probably using it more just because of the kind of games we're playing and the type of players that are out there. You know, they execute really well. But you know, the manufacturing game, we've used that before here.
Our players back within, you know, some within days and the others within weeks, and we wouldn't be able to acquire a player as good as Molina or Larry Walker or Reggie Sanders or Roland. So, I mean, right now we know we're going to get we're going to get guys back, and when we get them back, we'll be at full strength. But what the bench has done to keep things going this long has really been spectacular.
Busch, top of the first, runner on first, one out. Mark Mulder gets Luis Gonzalez to ground into the 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. Smart play there by Pujols. Cards aren't done with the double plays. Top of the second, one on, nobody out. Connor Jackson grounds into the 5-4-3 DP, thwarting another rally, and remains scoreless after an inning and a half. Bottom of the second, John Mabry leading off the inning versus Brandon Webb. Mabry hits towards the gap in right center. Thinks about 2 right away, and he just does that. He'll slide in under the tag from Royce Clayton. Cards in business. Next batter, Mark Grudzielanek lays down a great bunt, first base side. Past the pitcher, Jackson has to field it, but he throws it away. Mabry scores, ruled a hit and an error, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. Bottom of the fourth, same score following a Jim Edmonds double. Mabry gives it a ride. Gonzalez back to the wall, runs out of the room. A 2-run homer for Mabry, his 7th on the season, and the Redbirds lead it 3-0. Top of the fifth, Mulder going strong. Strikes out Chad Tracy, swinging 1 of 4 Ks on the night for Mulder. Top 7, still 3-0 Cards. D-backs threatening. Mulder gets Jackson to ground into the 5-4-3 double play, capped off by the great pick by Pujols. Cards defense holding their own, more than holding their own. Bottom of the 7th, Cards add to the lead. Mulder at the plate, singles to center, and so Taguchi will come around to score. Mulder ends up at second as the ball gets away, and it's 4-0 Cards. 2 batters later, first and third, 1 out. Squeezes on. Abraham Nunez nearly beats it out. Mulder comes in, 5-0 Cards. Bottom of the 8th, one of the lone bright spots, I should say, for Arizona. Lance Cormier The comebacker to Grudzalonic, taking a look. Perfect reflexes by Cormier. Saves a hit, probably saves himself as well. In the ninth now, Mulder going for the complete game, and Gonzalez grounds out to second to end it. Mark Mulder with the complete game, 5-hit shutout, improving to 14-6 on the year as the Cardinals, Rob, go on to win 5-0. David Eckstein 2 for 4. Abraham Nunez 0 for 3, but that great squeeze bunt and the RBI. Albert Wolf 1 for 3 and a walk. Jim Edmonds 1 for 2. John Mabry, we talked about his night. He was hot shots hot, 2 for 4, a double and 2 runs, including that homer. Mark Grudzalonic 1 for 4, and so continues to do his job now as a 10-game hitting streak, and Mark Mulder's line, the complete game, 5 hits, just 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. He's going strong. Had a little hiccup his last outing, but looks very, very good, and the reports of his early demise were exaggerated because he is back, and he looks like the pitcher that was pitching for the